whitest house. Slave souls haunt the halls when the light is out. They suck the blood of the poor and the wick they mouth. The last gas of a world that is dying out. Welcome to the whitest house, where every room is a tomb that they lie about. Where you can put your filthy feet on the finest couch, and for the right amount, you can even buy it out.
That's the essence of your entire political identity. You might be a white supremacist.
Yeah. Now, if you're perceptive, you might notice that we're one light skin down today.
Damn.
But you know, he's off living his best light skin life someplace. But so we won't hold it against him. We're happy for our brother, man, wherever he is in the world. Welcome to this is our welcome back episode. We've been
Y'all took off last week.
Yeah, we took off last week. So welcome back. This is This Week in White Supremacy. And what is happening in This Week in White Supremacy? Well, it's great that you asked that question, and even better that you tuned in to find out, because per usual, white folks have been white folksing. Is that how you say it? White people in. Yeah, white people in. I am the full-time supervillain, part-time hater, the fresh one with the flavor, the light skin. You know, the I guess the light skinned savior, if we just gonna keep rhyming, the waffle colored wonder twin, and I am accompanied.
You forgot. Now you a thespian.
I am a thespian. Yes, I am a thespian. You know, fucking actor. A serious act. Spell my name right on my Tony. You know. Yes. And who am I next to right here?
What's up, y'all? It is your favorite chocolate drop.
That's right.
Miracle. I'm here to bring the ratchet, the Southern perspective, and all things legal in a fun and digestible way. And of course,
okay.
Why you really?
I like that. No, I like that.
Oh my God.
Fun and digestible way. I like that.
Anyways, and of course, the person who brings our peace, our center, who's got to unmute himself.
He has to unmute himself. Yeah, because we can't hear him.
Treble next level shit. You know, I'm just over here in the shadows. Really trying to keep a low profile, and you know, I'm just here to give you guys.
That sound like next level suspicion.
So I know, y'all. It's Treble in LS.
And like witness protection.
Yeah, I'm about to say, yeah, exactly.
Today you can refer to me as Deep Throat.
Pause. Pause.
Deep throat digesting is the first 30 seconds.
We got pause.
This is what happens when Jasiri is off.
No pause. All I know is play.
Oh, okay. With the word play, come on, MC.
You know what I'm saying?
Come on. But we have a very cool show for y'all today. We always like to start things off on positivity because we know white supremacy is no laughing matter, and a lot of people.
Sometimes it is.
There was that whole thing on Facebook and Twitter that said sometimes racism is funny. Yeah. But you know,
I find racism funny. It just lets me know where I stand. I think racism is funny.
It makes no sense to me, but
that's what makes it funny.
Especially like when you come to a all black festival
and you're upset that black people are there.
That's things happen.
Yeah.
You know,
redundancy, racism and redundancy both start with the letter R for a reason. Ridiculousness.
See,
like Rob Dyrdek.
But to talk about the ridiculousness that is all things Pittsburgh is
we have someone with a very strong Pittsburgh accent about to join us and talk about racism. It's neither one of us.
It is comedian, organizer, Barrel and Flow festival creator extraordinaire Dave Bracey is going to be joining us to talk about what happened at the Barrel and Flow Fest, and what are some things that you can do to make sure this incident does not go without justice. We're going to bring him on the screen now. He is traveling throughout the highways and byways of Pennsylvania and is joining us, you know, from a secret, you know, unspecified location.
But you just said where he was driving.
No, I said the highways and byways of Pennsylvania.
Underground Railroad out here.
67 counties.
I mean, that's an approximate location, though.
There's over 67 counties. It takes over 6 hours to drive through the Commonwealth. So there's somewhere.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
But anyhow.
Welcome on to the show, brother. We appreciate having you on, man.
Was good, was good. I'm glad that I could fill your light skin quota since you're down a little bit.
There we go. There you go. Yeah. So
In the
talk
winter,
to
I
us.
can get light skin.
What you say?
In the winter, I get light skin. You know what I'm saying? I'm just dark because of the sun. You feel me?
Yeah, I'm dark skinned myself. So apparently there was some fuckery happening over this barrel and flow fest. So I don't know anything about any of this, right? This is all news to me. And when I found out about the shit, I was like, oh, white people were being racist on the South Side at a place called the Hofbräu House. Who was surprised about this? But apparently it was a little deeper than that, right?
Yeah, I mean, so, racism on the South Side ain't new. We all know about the dress codes. And, like, it's not like we spend a lot of time down the South Side Works. We put on this festival as a celebration of Blackness in this city, economic empowerment through the beer industry, celebration of arts. And, we went down there. We invited, I just want to first and foremost say, thank you to everybody that was involved with it, all the organizers, all the, the staffing, the volunteers, the collaborators, the breweries, the artists, like everybody, like it was a beautiful time down there, despite this bullshit that happened with the Hofbräu House. But, amidst all that, the manager came out, was harassing, the artists as they were unloading on the stage next door. Threatening to call the police. He was screaming in the face of staff members that about the volume, about the music. He was dropping racial slurs, calling for and refusing to let Black patrons into his establishment, but allowing white patrons to come and go as they please. That was, it was, we ended up, the stage ended up being shut down early. Southside Works made that call. And then, there was some, unplugging of one of the stages. One of the other stages was attempted to be unplugged.
Like on some Forrest Gump shit? Some nigga just came through and just started pulling the plugs?
So one of the, a blonde woman unplugged one of the stages at the festival. And then one of the managers at Southside Works tried to unplug the main stage, that was over there by the Hyatt. And, as a result of, the power issues, the harassment, Southside Works, a few artists weren't able to perform and whatnot. And, we're now in talks with Hofbräu House as to, why they are still employing this manager.
So the person in question that was shouting racial slurs and everything like that, just for the viewers, was the manager of the Hofbräu House, correct?
Yeah, that was the general manager.
The general manager.
Yeah, the general manager. I actually sat down with him, a few weeks before the festival, because it seemed weird to have a beer festival in front of a brewery and not like have them involved in any way, shape, or form, right?
Right.
So we're like, hey, you like general management, their main concern is the day of. Every day they're looking at their bottom line and whatnot. And he was very, very fearful of like, losing out on money. And I'm like, look, we got a bunch of vendors out there. We got, he's talking about being short staffed. I'm like, we have a job fair. We have a job booth that you could throw in and, try to recruit some folks from the fest. You can sell pretzels. You know what I mean? People who drink beer need pretzels. Like maybe you can sell some pretzels. Maybe you can find ways to incorporate within the festival. And, he turned all those down and, voiced his concerns about not only the money that he would be losing, but the music and how like it would interrupt his ambiance. And I don't know if you've ever been to the Hofbräu House, but their ambiance is like, I don't know, fucking polka music.
Drunk white people, right?
Right, yeah, and drunk motherfuckers screaming on top of tables. So it's not, like, but yeah. So I mean, this guy came out. He was the one that throughout the day I saw him, kind of like tapping his feet and going, I just want to make sure people aren't, on our property. And I was like, look, man, we want to make sure that we're not going to disrupt you in any way, shape, or form. And anybody that was at the festival, or has ever been to any of the festivals knows that, we put on a very good show. The people that show up, are very well behaved and they don't piss or fight or puke or any of that that bullshit that passed out in the grass. I mean, you don't see that shit at our festivals because we got some sense about us. So, you know, for them to call the cops down as they did was completely uncalled for. And what ended up happening was they said 10 plus police came down, and they ended up saying, "Yo, this is the guy causing the problems," and they told him he had to stay in, stay in because he was causing the ruckus.
And this is the general manager of the Hoffer House.
The general manager, yeah.
So he was asked to stay inside.
Yeah.
The police told him to stay in the building.
Yeah. Yeah. They came down. They were like, "Oh, there's a disturbance," and they're like, "Nah." And like, you gotta, you know.
You're cutting up bad, bro.
So.
And he's gone.
Ah, damn.
Ain't that about a bitch?
That was a very compelling story too.
So, Pittsburgh has a lineage of white supremacy, and I think it's ingrained in the culture of Pittsburgh. When I first heard about this, I wasn't surprised at all that like something like this would happen. But anytime you put alcohol and white folks together on the South Side and you involve sprinkling of black people, you're gonna get racism. Like that's just like you're gonna get outcries and outbursts of racism. But it is a shame that black folks can't come to our own events based off anything and for Black joy without it being interrupted by some angry white people. And that's pretty much par for the course. Miracle.
But the thing is, like, allegedly there were, and for clarification, I was one of the vendors at the festival. I had a moonshine, was out here with the people. There were over like 7,000 people like at this festival. So if you are a owner talking about coming on the heels of COVID-19, people aren't coming to your location. This is a prime, almost free marketing opportunity for you as well. To allow people to come use the bathroom, to come in and out. I know, like, I go to festivals a lot, and Starbucks.
I don't.
I'm so sorry for you.
I hate people.
That was so helpful.
It is, but like Starbucks always has like their bathroom open, and then they'll have like sometimes discount drinks and stuff, or drinks on the go. So because they know more people are coming to a location that traditionally do, so you can just buy stuff and leave. And so for a quote unquote small business owner to say, not only am I not participating, I'm not letting people in, it goes to show you that like some people would rather be broke than to like be welcoming to like black folks in their establishment.
That's a fact. That's the basis of Jim Crow. Restaurants would rather go out of business than serve black people. You know what I mean? Like but to me, for all my experiences in Damon Young, large up my brother Damon Young, you said it best. Southside is like white Wakanda. You know what I mean? Like it is, one of the most inhospitable areas to black people. And even if you have permits and you go through the channels for, all of that shit, they still don't want black people conducting black business down there or showing black joy or just black people walking down there. Like even that after certain hours, it feels like a sundown town. East Carson Street feels like a sundown town to me. Like whenever I see it, it's just like Babylon. I'm like, I avoid it at all costs. But this is super unfortunate. So Dave, what's happening with the I know we don't want to keep you long on these treacherous roads. But like what is happening with this managerial person? Like, are they still employed? Like, is there some type of recompense we're expecting around this?
He got his froze on real quick.
See, white supremacy just won't let us be great every week. Every week, white supremacy just come through and we try to shut us down.
Shit is trash.
And try to be taken
Damn,
away. Damn,
nigga gone again, man. They just snatched him up.
I was gonna make a light skin joke, but then I was like, nah, I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to better myself.
I thought we weren't colorist here, Miracle.
Me and myself, I have changed in the past week and I'm trying to do better. I'm working on it.
Are we?
I am working on it.
Moving forward, we've had quite a large bit of fuckery happening this week. And one of the most, I guess, hot button topics that has been on social media has been the Border Patrol issue if anybody has logged on to social media, images have been plastered up reminiscent of slavery from 300-400 years ago, but instead it was 3 or 4 hours ago in the great state of Texas, where you've had Border Patrol agents on horseback whipping black people, right? And this is a federally funded division that has been corralling Haitians, black people, black human beings, with slave tactics that were, supposedly outlawed in the United States of America in 1867, something like that. But no, these niggas is playing out their slave master fetishes and their slaver fetishes in real life. They're cosplaying as slavers. The question I want to know is, who wrote whips into the federal budget?
Bro, and
that's the question I want to know. How do you have
question.
funding for whips in a federal budget?
Listen, I want to, the OPI office, the OIG office, everybody needs to come back and figure out what happened. And this one guy was like, they're not whips, they're horse reins or something or whatever.
Semantics.
And so technically they are on horses. So if they were saying they needed these weapons or these items to corral horses, why then are they being launched against people?
Mm-hmm.
That is the question. And it's like, you knew these thousands of black people were coming to cross your border. And for, background information, backgrounder, allegedly, the United States had a hand in assassinating the president of Haiti a few weeks ago, right? There's been earthquakes, there's been tornadoes, there's been hurricanes, there's been flash flooding, all this type of stuff, corruption. That's all been happening in Haiti, and allegedly, like I said, we've had a part in this, in this change. We knew these people were coming. At what point did someone say we're going to send mounted people on horseback with these weapons to chase after folks? Mm-hmm. When in reality, we could have done a wet foot, dry foot policy like we did with Cubans, when Cubans had a similar political change and said, if you make it to our shores, we'll let you in. This is a policy decision that the Biden administration has to hold. This is a policy decision that the Republican administration in Texas has to hold. And this is a policy decision that all of us as Americans have to hold, because we keep allowing these entities to do violence here and abroad, whether it's in Haiti or Palestine or Venezuela or Puerto Rico, to sit there and change people's lives for the worse under the guise of nation building. And that's something that we have to be responsible for.
Absolutely. And I know there's people that watch these podcasts, that we do these shows, and they come at us for being quote unquote unapologetic Democrats, anything like that. This isn't a support of the Biden administration or to say that the Trump administration would have handled this better, because keep in mind, the Trump administration attempted to build a wall and they actually placed children in cages, right? No administration in this is better than the other. Sometimes all you're left with is terrible fucking choices, and that's what we have right here. We have an administration that has gotten over with destabilization of black economy throughout the globe and has made it their primary source of intervention in all of these global South communities and governments. So all of these agencies, whether it's the Trump administration, the Biden administration, the Obama administration, or the Bush administration, or the Clinton administration, Clinton was actually the first president in the United States that started fucking with Haiti, if you want to go back and check that shit. So this is America shooting, again, par for the course. Like, we talk about these white supremacist issues. This is nothing new under the sun. You can't reinvent the wheel. And I know, Treble, you had said something about this earlier in pre-production, and you said you had seen a link about repeating history or something. You want to share that with what?
Yeah, it said something about, like, due to human nature, it's difficult to try to stop the repeating of history. And it goes to show, because it's like, for years, it's like it's not about stopping the repeat of history. It's about stopping the belief that repeats history. And I don't think there's any way to literally prove to these people that the people crossing the border are people. I'm using people a lot because I want to put emphasis on the fact that these are human beings. And I don't know what type of training they go through that makes them think that these people who are human beings from other countries aren't human beings when they step foot in America anymore and don't deserve the same rights as the human beings that live in America. It just frustrates me. You know what I'm saying?
I seen something earlier today that said inhumane acts always start around dehumanization of people. And America has done dehumanization unlike any other country on the face of the earth. I mean, just look at what happens to black and brown people that are American citizens. So imagine how they're going to treat black and brown people who aren't American citizens trying to become some. Interesting factoid for those watching. Most undocumented people, and I'm speaking from experience, in the United States of America are Canadian or Russian. Most undocumented people are people from predominantly white countries, Europe, Russia, and Canada, who have overstayed their visas, and they are living in the United States illegally. I think it's to the tune of over 500,000 people, something like that, are undocumented citizens from predominantly white countries. Where is this energy for them? Where is the people on horseback with whips? Where, all these disgusting, insidious tactics and torturous methods of corralling human beings when it comes time for them to renew their paperwork at their local embassy? There are none. There are none. They saved all of these advances and all of this federal money and funding for the dehumanization and subjugation of people who are fleeing from an unstable environment that was created by the Allied powers. So we're looking at this shit and it's just like, yo, this is every black person in America right now has to be standing in solidarity with Haiti. Every person in America should be standing. Every person in Canada, every person in England, every person globally should be standing in solidarity with these Haitians, with these people who are trying to create a better life for themselves. And it's to reference another meme. If you want to stop refugees from entering your border, stop creating them.
That part.
Stop fucking creating refugees and you won't have to worry about it. And also, America has to take onus on the fact that you've built yourself up in the global theater of the political world to be this welcoming promised land. Of course, people are going to want to come here and experience that if that's how you present yourself. Right? If you present yourself as this America's #1 attitude and put America first, and this is the land of opportunity and milk and honey, of course, people are going to try to come here at all costs until they get here and they find out, oh shit, it's not like that.
And with that, we're talking about like white supremacy, this idea that Black and brown people at the border have to go through the most inhumane conditions.
Absolutely.
When there are, I think someone was saying over 500,000 people who are illegally here from Europe and Canada, and we never see their face. We rarely see their faces as the pictures of immigrants, as the pictures of people who are undocumented. We have somehow made immigration this Black and brown issue.
Absolutely. As
it is the other. It is this other thing that we have to fight for, that we have to fight against, that we have to rally against. And in reality, we are picking and choosing which humans that we are going to be able to support and to love and protect and support. And to that end, when we're talking about immigration, at the end of the day, I don't believe in borders. I believe we should abolish the border. I believe from the way our corporations engage in other countries to the way our leaders destroy other countries.
Absolutely.
Everyone should have the right to come here.
Mm-hmm.
That's my personal belief.
Anywhere. And specifically America.
And so this idea that we need to be pitting immigrants against each other, this idea that we need to be pitting Afghan and Haitian immigrants against each other and saying, y'all need to fight. No, we need to bring everybody into the fold. Anyone who wants to be here, and they should all, including people living here, should have their basic needs met. We have literally destroyed countries, bombed hospitals, killed children. Just last week,
A 2-year-old was found dead in Afghanistan
On top of that,
from an airstrike.
The government had to admit that all of those children, that whole family that died in the airstrike just over a week ago, was because of an accident, because they had the wrong information and targeted the wrong vehicle. We are killing people in the global south. And then we're getting mad when those same people say, you know what, I can't be in my home country anymore. And so for me, I'm not talking for the organization. So when y'all get mad, don't come and cuss people out. Y'all can cuss me out. For me, I don't believe in borders. And I think everyone should be here. And I think that we owe so much to so many people that we should be having free health care, that we should even be talking about extending an eviction moratorium. People should be housed. People should be clothed. People should be fed. There's enough to do that in our country, and we just don't. And it's because we have this racist and this ableist system that literally allows us to say, as Treble was talking about, that certain people aren't worth basic humanity, and that is so problematic.
The fact of the matter is, white people specifically, your ancestors stole people while they were fleeing tyranny. So how are you denying freedom to asylum seekers? I'm gonna say that again.
Hard as fuck.
White folks. I made that. I actually put that in a rhyme. I just paraphrased it, but the rap was, your ancestors stole people while fleeing tyrant leaders. So how you denying freedom to all these asylum seekers? Like, that's the fact of it. Tyranny is what made Protestants leave Europe and colonize America, and on the way snatch some people up from a warmer climate and bring them with them, right? That's exactly what happened. So this is nothing new for this system of white supremacy, of this WASPism right here. This is what we are encountering, and we are protesting, and we are standing vehemently against as people of the global majority, is to stop this fucking treatment. Hold Joe Biden and Kamala Harris responsible, but at the same time, it's not just those two. It's not just those two. It's the entire administration. It's the entire system that is allowing this to happen against these black and brown people that are trying to find safety, to seek solace and asylum from conditions that were created by the very country they're fleeing to. It's mad.
And I also want to say something about, so when I was watching your beautiful play on Sunday, Farouk.
Thank you. I'm very talented.
Of course. I was thinking about how we as citizens, as people that are part of this country, right? There needs to be a national change of attitude when it comes to immigrants and immigration, because there are a lot of people who sit down on their couch watching television and programming, stuff in their face and just allowing whatever they see to be the truth, right? And it's like, I feel like we as citizens need to see other people, whether you're a citizen or not, as people, as human beings, because it's those attitudes that perpetuate the treatment that we've seen publicized down in Texas. And I can almost guarantee that there are a lot of Texans down there who are super for that treatment and see nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with human beings literally being treated like cattle just for trying to find a safe environment, or an environment safer than the one that they lived in, that could potentially mean the harm of them, their families, the loss of resources, and just overall just a poor quality of life. People are coming here to live a better life than the one that they're living in their own country. And I feel like we need to start being more empathetic. I feel like empathy is one thing that we as citizens need to really sit, study, think about.
Empathy comes with the caveat. We got to keep in mind that Texas was the state that wanted to secede from the United States of America because they could no longer own slaves. So for them to have federal agents out there practicing slavery, so-called slave master tactics, this isn't a surprise. You know what I mean? Like, so empathy comes with that caveat of, we have to have empathy for people that look like the global minority or the quote unquote majority makeup of the United States of America, the dominant culture. White people have empathy.
I'll change empathy to compassion. That's
yeah.
Yeah.
It's that's just like, Bro, it was. I remember seeing it on Instagram, and I was like, "Yo, this is fucked up." Like, I didn't know what I was looking at first until I started reading captions. I was like, "There's no way this shit is happening like as I'm sending this message." But no, it is, and we have to segue it this way. What? No, I was just gonna say something.
Go ahead.
Oh, you got it?
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say this. Policing was created by the act of returning property, which was slaves, to their slave masters. So as we transform policing, we have to look at the etymology of officer and overseer, and we have to look at the history of policing, which was created for the sole purpose of bringing slaves back, human beings that were enslaved, back to the people that quote unquote owned them at that time. This is how we're going to bring in our sound of the police.
That's the sound of the police.
That's the sound of the beast. In Baltimore, police is bugging, in case you ain't know.
What they do?
An officer who fucked up a black person because he lied about being spit on now had his chickens come home to roost, and it found out that he lied. The body cam footage and Maury Povich came back and said that was a lie. My nigga, you was lying. Police was also fucking up where else, Miracle?
Here in Philadelphia.
In Philadelphia. In what state?
Pennsylvania.
Where do we live?
Pennsylvania.
Where was that nigga just driving through?
Pennsylvania.
Damn.
I know.
What happened in Philadelphia? Because I don't know about this.
So,
you know, I don't know how to read.
But you was reading captions though.
Ooh. I had Siri read it to me. Audio.
Right.
Like, hey Siri, read that for me. Update your iPhone to 15.0, bro.
See how the man just be lying, but it's okay. I'm not gonna bash men this week because I'm growing. Me myself, I'm growing. I'm getting better.
One moment.
And Siri even knew he was bullshitting. Siri said, "Stop the cap, Miracle. Stop the cap." I told you, upgrade to 15.0, iOS 15.
So
change your life.
Last year, when there was the uprising and people were fighting for justice and freedom that we still do not have now, there was a situation where the police actually put out a picture of this lady officer holding this little black boy and was talking about how this officer had really saved, this black boy because his parents were doing something illegal. Turns out that was a lie. This woman was driving home. She made a wrong turn, found herself caught up in some of the protests. And as a result, the police attacked her and took away her children. The state got involved and there was some lawsuits. And as a result, she is now being awarded $2 million before her damages, her and her family and her children, because of what happened. And we even can parlay that into what's going on here with the local Allegheny County, jail oversight board, and how people are advocating and asking paramilitary style trainings not to happen in the local jail. Is because you keep seeing over and over and over again the mistakes of police. The violence of police somehow keeps to fall at the doors and feet of Black people. And when it happens, there is no support. There is no safety. There is nobody there to say stop. How these officers in Philly just took a pause, an extra couple of minutes, and instead of trying to tweet a photo to go viral, they would have seen that this mother wasn't trying to harm anybody, wasn't a danger to herself or her children. And they would have gone about their day, but instead we're here. She's here, and hopefully she'll get all of her $2 million that all of us as taxpayers are responsible for, because that money does not come out of the police pockets. It does not come out of the police officers' pockets. It does not come out of the police union pockets. It comes out of the insurance and taxpayer dollars. So that is how the police have been messing up just this week. Treble, you were going to say something?
Yeah, bro, I'm so tired of the police out here constantly proving how much they don't give a fuck about citizens, about the people that they swore to serve and protect. It's like, to think, I'm really trying to put this into perspective, that they saw a woman protesting, spun this whole story on her, took her child, then tried to say that they saved the kid. What? What? And bro, it's just like, for what? For why? You know? It makes me question, like, what is their motive? What is their end goal? And why do we keep putting so much trust in these people who don't give a flying fuck about people? You know?
Yeah, and it's the same thing because, like, right now we've been talking about, and even over the past year, we had talked about. We're talking something serious.
Oh.
We had talked about, needing money to be reallocated to the community because we said violence is going to happen. People have been locked up in their homes. They have mental health issues. All this stuff is happening. Fights are going to happen. Violence is going to occurring. And now we're here and we're seeing people shooting. We're seeing people get into the fights. And we're also seeing there's been a lack of money and anti-violence work because nobody was actually doing the work. When in reality, the $50 million had we gotten it last year when we first demanded it, we wouldn't be in the situations we are now. And so when we're talking about reforming and changing and abolishing police, a lot of people get very upset and they kind of, are taken aback. But we keep trying to tell people this stuff that's happening is showing that police do not keep us safe. Police do not even protect us. And I don't know if we're going to talk about, Gabby going missing.
I still don't know anything about what happened.
She went missing. They interviewed that man who allegedly is the suspect and let him go home, right? All this type of stuff.
This is the white girl that went missing.
Yeah, and the police didn't do anything to solve the case. It was TikTokers and YouTubers and everyday people who were out here solving the case.
Did they actually find her?
Yeah, and they just found her because of that. And so it shows again, we can keep us safe. We can police each other. We can solve our own issues. We don't need this state agency that is literally stealing millions and billions from communities to keep us safe.
And I also want to ask the question of, like, why do they only want to do anti-violence programs in the community? Why not in the police force as well? You know what I'm saying? The same people who come into our neighborhoods and basically enforce with violence.
The same. I'm sorry, go on. I didn't mean to cut you off, bro.
I know, it's all good.
The same to be said is we don't want white politicians coming into black communities talking about how much they hate racism. Take that to white communities. We don't want police coming to our communities talking about how to end violence. Take that to your own house. Because again, I say this all the time. When we talk about gun deaths and we talk about gun-related shooting in the United States of America, they do not factor in the amount of people that are killed by police into those statistics. They do not factor in that number right there. So we have to have that conversation about cleaning up your own house before you come to our community with that shit. Because we have proven Newark, New Jersey is prime example, one of the most notoriously violent, I'm using air quotes on there for all the people that are vision impaired. I apologize for that. The cities in New York, in American history, that is being able to turn this around and having now a really welcoming attitude to the city, even though I fucking hate New Jersey, that you can govern yourself as citizens and create an environment that is free from police and sustainable. At the same time, I'm tired of hearing black people talk about all the time that defunding the police isn't sustainable. Nigga, what have they done for you recently? Do you feel safe in your own community in the presence of police? Do you feel safe when you see a police officer turn their lights on and their sirens on and you driving down the street even though you obeying all the traffic laws? Do you feel safe when that happens? If your pulse even goes up 1 beat per minute, that means you don't feel safe. So I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear them bait chats about all this defunding the police isn't sustainable. No, it needs to happen. This is a conversation that we are now forcing down the people's throats. Pause, because we no longer can accept the status quo. I know you're about to say something about that, but you're just gonna let me rock on that.
I said I'm not judging the light skins or the men this week. So I was working through it. I'm trying to change.
I appreciate that.
Trying to accept
I
it for
recognize.
you,
I recognize your growth,
I appreciate it.
and there's a lot of natural growth right here, and
It
I
is.
recognize that too.
Thank you.
Absolutely. What
I
have you been
appreciate
using?
it.
Natural juices and berries.
I was trying to get my hair gross with the olive oil and
That ain't nothing but ultra
you
perm.
know. You know what? Don't start with me. No.
That's coming to America.
Do you see? I try. See, Treble. When you try to do good, when you try to do right, the devil just be all up on your path.
Now I'm the devil.
I didn't see you're the devil, but do you see?
The devil is a lie.
How you escalated that situation?
I didn't. I was quoting Eddie Murphy.
You said you escalated that situation.
I was quoting Eddie Murphy.
And
I think
now-
y'all need couples therapy.
Okay, now
That
Treble.
really help.
See with your friend.
People already be thinking things
Get
about
your
us.
friend, and now you make my life more difficult again.
Speaking of making lives difficult, did we talk about the teacher yet who wore blackface?
That's just wild, bro.
Why is it teachers that
Ask
are
your people.
Why is it teachers that are dying on this hill of masks? Like, I don't get it.
Because they're literally dying of COVID. So you would think that they would be the people
Right.
who would be like rallying around to protect themselves.
There was a teacher, and was it Connecticut? Massachusetts? It was someplace in New England. I don't know. It's pretty much all the same to me. It's the same accent. Who wore blackface to school,
They all
comparing
favor.
herself to Rosa Parks. She is the Rosa Parks of COVID in order to attempt to bring protest awareness to vaccines and masks in the classroom. I'm going to repeat this again. A white teacher wore blackface and called herself Rosa Parks in order to protest vaccinations and masks in the classroom. Why? Why is it white folks always want to don blackface and say they're doing black shit or co-opt our struggle in order to superimpose it against their what
It
do they
was in
say?
Oregon.
It was in Oregon? Oh,
Oregon,
okay.
number
Oregon.
one.
My bad.
Number two, I want to see what she looked like. Because like how white was her blackface? Because like Rosa Parks was passable.
Yeah, she was super light.
Super light
She was
skin.
super light, yeah. She was
So
like my
I-
color, right?
Yes, I want to know like how dark was this blackface?
And why
That
they always
is a
trying to
great
co-opt black
question.
movements, bro? It's like stand in your shit as yourself, bro. Like that's that white people shit. Just own it.
Bro,
Just
you
wear
just
it
said,
loud and
it the
clear.
best way. Stand in your own shit by yourself.
Yes.
But also, like she could have done something with women's suffrage movement. She could have done a whole bunch of stuff. But can you like? I just want to know, like, did she walk to the store and she was like, "This is the color match that I'm going to use to be Rosa Parks." And as like she was putting on like each swatch like a time at a time, was she like playing Journey? Was she listening to Eye of the Tiger? Like as she put on her heels.
Now she had an R.
and
Kelly.
drove
She was playing I
and,
Believe I Can Fly. That's what
drove
she had
her
on.
car to the school. Like, what was her pump up
She sat in the back
music?
of her own car
Like,
where
she knew she was
she took
doing
public
it.
transportation and sat on the back of the bus to school. That's that. She embodied Rosa. That's what she did.
Knew what she was doing, and I'm just that's the questions I have because there has been multiple points. Like, what happened with the first person who saw her? Like, she got a burn. Did she have a sign that said Rosa Parks?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just curious. And at what point did she say this?
This is it.
This is gonna make people say.
This is gonna get my point across.
When in reality, had she worn her mask, people would have been like, "Oh, maybe she's got a sunburn today. Maybe she got like a little something going on." No one would have known she was in full blackface.
That is just so that is a great question. I am curious to see now. But why is it that all these educators are saying these masks are muzzles, that they are infringing upon their basic human rights? You know what's infringing upon basic human rights? Death. Well, death is
COVID-19 is killing people.
I'm about to say COVID-19 has now killed more people than the Spanish flu. How about that?
And the majority of people who
How's
were
that for them
dying
apples?
were teachers.
Yeah, lots of teachers dying.
And so I don't get. I mean,
Teachers
for
and
me-
police officers, right?
Well, I don't care about what I was saying was the teachers have been dying. And so I think the teachers would take this up a little more serious. And also, don't you always talk about you don't want your students in your face? You don't want to talk to students. You don't want to see their lips moving.
Come on.
You worried about students whispering to each other and cheating? don't masks like prevent like cheating? Don't masks like prevent like all of the unnecessary?
I don't think
talk?
masks prevent cheating any more than condoms do.
I was talking about like people talking across the room and mouthing.
Oh,
things.
okay. You mean like cheating on test scores?
I was being very.
That was some
specific.
experience right there.
With that example, I was being very, very specific. And what I am saying is, I have questions about what she did and why, and like that is what I'm focused on. Yeah. The series gonna fire all of us. Like,
I can't get fired, so I don't care.
Series gonna fire all of us and be like, we're gonna have the emergency staff meeting.
I'm
tomorrow.
sorry. I thought that was funny.
I'm not recognizing those comments.
No, but no,
the week I had, I'm being straight and narrow.
That is a great point. Educators are always talking about different ways that they could better serve their students, and I can't really think of a better way to serve your students by keeping them healthy, keeping them safe. That's the best way to service your students. To create a healthy classroom environment is to create a healthy classroom environment. No matter what that looks like, whether it's in person or virtual, we have to look at what can we do to ensure the safety of the children. That is what you're there for as an educator. People get so hung up on these, personal ideologies and these political alignments inside the classroom. There's no place for that. Your job is to ensure the safety of the students, and then everything else is second in that classroom. This is speaking from experience, but this is also speaking for someone who has a vested interest in seeing the transformation of the education system. So this is like, you know what I mean? Like, hearing this lady put on Rosa. Now I'm really thinking, like, how dark did she go for this blackface? Like, how, like,
she put iodine on, so I'm imagining it like light brown. Yeah, she used iodine to make her face tinted.
That'll make you orange,
what
right?
What is iodine? Like
the droplets?
Like the medicine?
That's what the article said.
Right, yeah. Iodine you can get over the counter. So I mean,
did she Google that?
She had. I mean, that's clever.
Now you're giving her props.
I like clever racism.
What?
Okay.
I don't. Clever or not, I don't fuck with it.
Yeah, I think, like, hey, you definitely get an A for effort.
I hope there were black students and black teachers at that school, and they can now
Oregon.
get all the mental health days.
Oh,
All the mental health days they could, because if that was me, child.
Oh yeah, I'd be traumatized. I can't do no work the rest of the year.
Straight in the HR office.
Yep.
John says she was wearing Trump face.
Trump face. Man, like,
watch that be her excuse. I can't be racist. It was orange.
Right? Yeah. She probably say that shit, man.
But now, serious question. It's like, as an educator, right? And also knowing the statistic that Miracle just shared about educators being some of the main groups dying from COVID. It's like, even, what you said about thinking about the classroom, super important, but even thinking about yourself, right? You're about to be in contact with all of these students that you don't know whether or not they're vaccinated or not, have COVID or not. You don't even want to keep yourself safe. You want to dress up like Rosa Parks to come in and make yourself even more at risk than you already were.
Why is it that white people think black folks cosplay is a way to call attention to all matters?
That's what I call liberal racism.
Yes.
Leftist racism.
Absolutely.
Like, this is our civil rights moment. What if this was no? And
that's indicative of the fact they know that black folks are the most underrepresented and historically excluded and the oppressed. They know all of that shit, which is why they want to be like, oh, well, this will bring attention to the matter. It's because whenever black folks are uplifted, everybody becomes uplifted. They know. So that's why they're trying to use black people as their fucking mules once again to bring attention to a matter that doesn't sit right with them. This is just. Can we talk about something else? Can we talk about how Usher was involved with this bullshit?
Yeah, bro. Why was Usher on the host panel for that, bro?
What the fuck has Usher done?
First of all, calm down.
And any type of activism.
Like,
I mean, he made people aware of herpes.
is it because
I don't know if that's activism.
Oh my god!
an ATLian is not going to stand for slander?
Oh my God. We are not going.
Usher decided he wanted to let this shit burn.
Okay. Let's grow up. We're not in middle school anymore. First of all, we don't knock people with diseases. What Usher did, thank you. You know what, Woogie? You all wanted to. I appreciate you today, because
I didn't say he had it. I say he made people aware of it.
I mean, there's a lot of non-disclosure agreements that are.
What I'm gonna say is, if you're not aware, I think it was CBS? I want to say it was CBS.
Maybe.
I don't know. There was an announcement that there was going to be a competition, like Dancing with the Stars.
They could have filmed this shit in Pittsburgh and had a field day with it. Let me stop.
But activist style. And they're going to have activists compete against each other.
Like, who can be the most that's the thing. It's like, what were the contests going to be about? Who can make the best chants? Who can march the farthest? Like, Diddy already did that with Cheesecake. Try something new. Like, what are you going to do? Who can talk about being marginalized the most and the most creatively? Like, who can crowdfund a movement best? Like, all of that shit is so performative and so problematic. And that's the problem with the realm of activism as it is now, is that there's so much infighting and so much complaining over resources. And it's difficult. It all detracts from the message that we don't want to see anybody oppressed. It detracts from the message of liberation. And something so divisive as this shit is a Trojan horse. And anybody that wanted to take part in this, you almost can't even blame them, because as activists, more time, a lot of these people don't have resources for themselves. These are people who are affected by the system that they're calling out against. So if they see an opportunity to say, hey, listen, I could take my very worthy cause or my very passionate sense of liberation and improvement for marginalized people and get some money off of it because I'm struggling, you can't fault that individual. However, this is how capitalism works. This is another facet of capitalism and white supremacy. I just think it's a stupid fucking idea to have, what is it, America's Next Top Activist? What are they going to call it? Like, and not only that, that's a security risk.
Yo, so I'm thinking, like, this is why we need genuine diversity in the workplace, because there's no reason why it made it this far before people started to see what was wrong with the idea. I feel like as soon as the idea got brought up, there should have been someone in the room who could have looked at him and been like, now, come on. Is it true activism if we're filming it and making it a competition? How do you compete activism? How does that even work?
And I think I honestly would say social media has given light to a lot of this, because the same way people do these social experiments of when they're videotaping themselves doing acts of charity, like, to me, that's self-serving, right? All that shit is passe. It's so whack to me. It's like, oh, okay, real charity doesn't come with a video camera, bro. Like, it doesn't come with social media likes and reshares and all of that. Like, you giving a person on the streets who's destitute, some money or some resources, that's great. But filming the act just for this fact that filming the act completely negates everything you're doing. You about to say something?
Yeah, kind of sidetracked, but I've always wanted to create a show about the one person in the pitch meeting who was like, you shouldn't do that. That's not a good idea.
That would be a fucking great show.
It's like the one person, because there had to have been one person who's like, you know what, y'all, don't think it's gonna work. Don't think we should give Kendall Jenner a Pepsi. I don't think the black kid
about that. I thought it was Kim
in a monkey suit. It was Kendall. There's always that one person who's like, and I would always like to see that, because it's like, on Tuesday they walked and they're like, I told you, bitches. Like, I told you. This is a bad idea.
Yeah.
And now they said they're going to make a documentary about the 5 activists they chose and go from there. But it's just like really, really sad, because they could have done.
Okay, go ahead. I had a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What was the prize?
I don't even remember, because I was like, That's announcing a competition. Like, you know how you gotta
We all compete against white supremacy as it is now.
it's like the Great American Bake Off, but activist style. But if it was activist cooking, would you have watched it? Like the worst cooks in America, but they're all activists.
I mean,
I just don't think the activist title needs to be in there.
Yeah, like now there's someone who's very dope at that. I like Jasmine Cho, who is the cookie activist. Jasmine Cho is a Korean American who, she's Pittsburgh based. She was just on a cooking show talking about activism, but
featuring her cooking,
right? Large up Jasmine Cho. That's the homie. I like her a lot. She's super cool. But this shit,
good.
Yeah, and she has great food. A super sweet person.
Yeah,
too.
and I think it's also because we even internally have had these conversations about what is your point as an organizer, as an activist?
Right.
Is it to get the book deal? Is it to be on TV? Is it to do that? Or is it to actually create systemic change within your community and your organization?
Not only systemic change, but to create an environment that's sustainable around you, right? Because systemic change is, and I don't mean to cut you off, systemic change is the end goal. But what are you doing in the interim right now? What type of community support are you galvanizing, right? And that's why when Miracle said, what is your end game as an organizer? It's like, what are you trying to do? Like, people don't know that beyond organizing, there's so much that goes on behind the scenes that doesn't get talked about, that's not glamorous. None of this shit, like us having this podcast, this is the reprieve from all of that. This is how we cope with this shit. Like, really and truly, this is how we kind of get our rocks off and are able to like kick our feet up and have a little bit of fun because of how stressful this shit is. And shows like fucking America's Next Top Activist just really shits on everything we do. In my opinion, it's like wild disrespect, super offensive to me.
We're going to have an emergency staff meeting. He's going to watch this look at midnight and like, get your rocks off. Okay. We're going to get another joke email. But I think it's really true. But I think there's also a difference between using the platform you're already given to make and raise awareness for things. And I think it's one of those, you got to read the room. You gotta read the room. We've been having
what if you
this.
can't read?
Can't read. You got hooked on phonics. You got Libby that kind of reads the books for you.
Like Siri?
Kind of like Siri, but for books.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
And that kind of helps, So if you are someone who's differently abled or someone who doesn't have the capacity, there's to sit down and read a book. There are things you can do.
Cool.
What is that book?
Well, it's great that you mentioned this because there is a red book right here with letters on here that I would love to read to you, but I cannot.
So our white pages
is
don't mess up mother's name.
I want to sound the sister.
Do not mess up her name. Do y'all see the nails? Do y'all see them? Isn't it cute? Give you nail cam.
We see them on fucking one. Okay.
The Cashway on Instagram. Hit her up. Cash with a K. But
Angela Y. Davis.
I think we're gonna sound it out.
I've been practicing.
Look at you, boo. Look at you.
Come on. Angela Y. Davis. Freedom is a constant struggle.
Struggle.
Ugh.
Oh,
I thought you. So struggle. Struggle?
No, struggle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Phonetics, right?
Yeah, American language.
Yeah.
Look at it.
Short U, long U. It's a short U sound.
Yeah, like an ooblat. Like an ooblat is under there. Ferguson, Palestine, and the Foundation of a Movement. This actually sounds like a really dope book, specifically for what we're talking about now. So our white pages is the sister, the mother, the liberator, the conqueror, the terror of walls, right? The dismantler of oppressive systems.
Of walls.
Terror, like terror, not TERROR, like terror, like tear down, TEAR. American English. Come on. Angela Y. Davis. And we also have an honorable mention, which I'm very excited about. This one specifically as it pertains to Haiti. Now, she's from Bahrain by way of Canada. Border and rule.
Mm-hmm.
Rule. Okay. Border and rule. Global Migration, Capitalism, and the Rise of Racist Nationalism by a sister called Harsha Walia. It's yeah, there you go. Harsha Walia.
But it's a really good book about,
Did you read this?
I read some of them because
Okay.
Haymarket Books always likes to have sales or put stuff out there. Shout out to Haymarket Books. Them and Kara's Bookstore really be eating, and Whitewell really be eating my paycheck up a lot. And so, but they always have really great books out for that. Now, we know a lot of people are busy and stuff is happening, but we have a call to action. We actually have two calls to actions for this weekend. The first one, let me pull it up, is our great partners, Take Action Mon Valley. Shout out Fawn and Olivia. They are partnering with the Grandma and Grandpa's Village, and they're having the Soul Carnival this Saturday, the 25th.
Is it like the Universal Circus?
Kind of like that. They're going to have food, music, games, and more from 11 to 6 at the Renzi Park and McKee Sport. That is this weekend. And then also on Saturday, if you can't make it out to McKee Sport, if you just go up the street to House of Manna, there is the Recovery on Frankstown by Zakiah House and the Poise Foundation and their caterers. They're going to be having recovery on Frankstown, working to rebuild the community, people who've been impacted by addiction, disorder, and violence. And so you can come out. There's two great events. That is our call to action that you can support. In addition, there are some protests happening in Haiti. So, you can write your elected officials, your federal officials, and tell them, what's going on in Haiti, you got to fix it. What's going on with Afghanistan refugees, you have to fix it, and you need to be voting for these packages, these bills that are coming down. So there's a lot of stuff that you can do, go out with your family, write some emails so we can get some actual policy change within the community.
I passed up on low-hanging fruit. I too am trying to grow and develop.
You just wanted to take my shine. It's okay though.
No, I just, this has concluded another week recap of white supremacy. Please join us next week when inshallah we'll have a full roster again, and we have some updates for the following week. We have some big news. I'm personally very excited about us talking about next week.
Oh yeah,
we actually have a whole bunch of news for next week that we can't speak about publicly yet that we are very excited for.
Speaking of, I'll be in Dallas this weekend.
Oh,
so if there's some places, if you got Dallas people or some Dallas food that I need to stop by and grab, me myself, I love to eat. Hit me up, tag me in their stuff so I can go, especially locally owned businesses.
Bring me back a stallion.
I can't find her. She's
that doesn't have to be Meg, but just like something Meg-esque.
Bring them back, or can I just get their number for you?
I'd rather them come back, but.
Can I book that on the card? Because then I have to pay. Maybe I'll find an artist and then we can bring them. So we have announcement.
Now you're thinking like a business person.
Now we have our announcement. They can perform and we can be good.
Where's Manolo from? Is she from Dallas? She's from Houston.
I don't know.
Beating down your block? Her?
I don't know.
I know she's from Texas though.
But you know what? I'm not a Texodian, so I expect they from Texas.
I've been meaning to ask you this question.
Oh shit!
All right, I've been meaning to ask you this question.
Oh god.
Can all Southerners, can you pinpoint another state's Southern accent?
Yeah, a lot of times.
So you be like, okay, you're from Missouri.
Yeah.
You're from Kentucky.
You can do Florida. Florida has a very specific accent. Georgia, we have more of a twang. Tennessee is more of a slow, rapid talk. North Carolina is just very, very Southern. You just know they're not from there. Like
default Southern?
Yeah. And Mississippi is like not Maine. That Maine, that sometimes also like Memphis too, because a lot of people going back and forth. But it's a lot of like the slang and stuff, and people from like where they say jit, Maine, the cousin, different people have different swag about them, how they dress too. You can tell where they from. When it's pretty cool,
Interesting. Yeah, I've been meaning to ask you that question about accents.
The drugs are never mind.
Yeah. Well, we're definitely not going to coach.
I was gonna say the drugs are different, but like this is how they talk.
I was just asking about the accents. Yeah,
the accents, the hair, the swag. Like to me, like Duval County got the best. People hate it, but like the dreads, the 4 or 5 dreads they fused together.
Like Duval, like Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Them niggas
Duval
look wild.
County, but you know the South is just like we made our own words, we made our own culture, all type of stuff because we had nothing else, and it's pretty cool, you know.
Lodge up to the South. It's warm down there.
And stop saying y'all going to throw away the South or you're going to vote states out the South, because Black people, the majority of Black people live in the South, and so when y'all keep talking about throwing away the South because of this, these racist legislatures, you're talking about making voter suppression win. So like stop hating on the South.
I thought all Black people live in Detroit.
You know, Detroit is a good
Detroit is black.
Bro, when we went to this one club,
all of Detroit is this color.
They had these fur coats. Everybody had fur coats on. I was like, oh my gosh, where am I? And everybody was talented.
Detroit is a dope city.
Everybody be super nice.
Detroit is dope. If you think DC is black, where do you go to Detroit? If you think Philadelphia is black, where do you go to Detroit? If you've never been in them cities,
food is good.
Black. Detroit is so black. They got Joe Lewis's fist in the middle of the downtown area. That's how fucking black Detroit is. You know what I mean? Or not Joe Lewis. Why did I say Joe Lewis? Joe Lewis from Philadelphia. Not Muhammad Ali. He's from Louisville, Kentucky. I'm thinking of
Detroit fist.
I'm a fucking boxer. I should know this shit. I can't even think about it right
my
now.
brain don't work.
Anyway, we will catch you lot next week.
But if you a Detroit activist, hit us up. We will fly out.
We will. All right.
Also, I find out if I win an Emmy this weekend.
Oh, that's right.
Please
Yeah, Treble
wish me luck.
NLX is nominated for an
It
Emmy.
was Joe Lewis.
It was Joe Lewis? Okay,
you
y'all
didn't
right.
believe in yourself.
I need to believe in myself, man.
That's what everybody believes
This
in.
is a teachable moment.
Yeah. It's Joe Frazier that was from Philadelphia. Joe Lewis is from Detroit. I'm sorry. Yeah, I messed up. But anyway, everybody have a good week. You know,
Sugar Ray. What? Yeah.
Not Sugar Ray Robinson or Leonard. Sugar Ray was from I think it's from California.
But Emmy, yes, Emmys this week. On the is that Saturday?
Yep.
Yeah.
At 7 p.m.
Also Saturday at I think 5 p.m. Veeam, their youth coordinators are having a mayoral debate. So there's also some things that you can look up for. But yes, wish Treble and the team luck for these Emmys this weekend. Woo woo.
Yeah, aren't we nominated for 3 collectively?
Yeah.
Yeah, so One Hood is nominated for 3 Emmys. Tune in and wish us luck.
Don't clip our tails. If you haven't watched it, go watch the video. Amazing. I put it in all of like a lot of my One Hood teaching stuff. So yeah.
Hey, let's get it. Bet.
Yeah. We gotta see if we can put it on our One Hood YouTube page. If we can get it or cross promote it some type of way.
All right. Everybody, we're out of here.
Toodaloo. Be safe.
Peace out, everyone. Never lose sight.
I would just.
Welcome to the whitest house. Slave souls haunt the halls when the light is out. They suck the blood of the poor and to wipe their mouth. The last gas of a world that is dying out. Welcome to the whitest house, where